I'm Nathan Schmidt. I'm CEO of Deal Co-op. I'm almost a little embarrassed to admit that I've never been to a Birmingham entrepreneur meeting before. I'm a huge advocate of this kind of thing. I think that the community supporting entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs supporting each other is essential to Birmingham. And so I think groups like this are great, and I thank you for coming out, not to support me, but just entrepreneurship in general. And thank you to Innovation Depot too. This building, if you haven't spent much time here, and I really hadn't until a few months ago, is an amazing resource for this city. Anytime you start a company and you have a few people and you go isolate them somewhere, it's tough. And by being able to bring them into a shared collective work environment where you have access to resources and access to other companies is essential. And I'm just thrilled to be here. So thanks again for the intro. And this will be fun because I haven't been to one of these before. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to talk about or the do's and don'ts. So we're going to go freestyle a little bit. Please feel free to cut in at any point if you have a question. Please interrupt. Just speak up. I'm a pretty open book. I'm happy to talk about whatever you would like. So with that in mind, I kind of have a few things that I'd like to talk about. First is my journey as an entrepreneur, which is in no means finished. I'm not heading back to my yacht or to my mansion. We're in the middle of things right now, but up until this point, I've had some fairly rich experiences that I'm happy to share with you. So I'll tell you how I got started. I'll talk a little bit about Techstars, a program that I participated in. It was a pretty amazing experience as well. And then maybe we'll tell some stories, or I'll tell you some lessons that I learned along the way. My entrepreneurial experience started at a law school. I went from KU Law to study abroad in London. I met my wife there. She was from Birmingham, not the Birmingham you would expect. She was from Birmingham, Alabama, not Birmingham, England. So I went to London to meet a Birmingham girl. We fell in love. She was in law school too. We were sitting around one night having a glass of wine, and we thought, you know what? We really don't want to be lawyers. Like, well, what could we do? And I said, well, I like to make websites. And she said, well, I really, really like food. And sometimes the smallest conversation or what seems like a fairly insignificant decision at the time can branch off, we all make these decisions, into a decade or more of your life. And that was the case in that point. The roots of my entrepreneurism were in a silly conversation late at night over a glass of wine with my wife. And next thing you knew, we called our parents and said, thanks for sending us to law school, but we're not going to practice law. Didn't go over that well. But we were able to prove them wrong. We moved to Birmingham. We started birminghammenus.com. Our concept was extremely simple. We went to local restaurants. We really liked working with locals. And we said, for $100 a month, we'll build your website and we'll promote you on birminghammenus.com. And we signed up a lot of restaurants. I was the first web designer for places like Hot and Hot and Ocean and Little Savannah and the Bright Star. So we designed a lot of the first, almost a decade ago, or I think it was a decade ago, websites for restaurants here in Birmingham. But then we ran into a problem. And that was after we accumulated 30 or 40 restaurants, we found out that they loved to feed us, but they hated to pay us. And so we were having trouble paying the rent, but we were eating crab cakes like every night. And so our entrepreneurism kicked in, and we came up with a concept. We went to the restaurants, and this is 8 years ago, and said your food costs are 40%. So if you're going to feed us, you need to feed us more than you're paying us. We'd like $250 a month in food as opposed to $100 in cash. And we're not going to eat all of that food. We're going to sell that online in the form of gift certificates. So we came up with the Birmingham Menus quarterly gift certificate sale 4 times a year for the last 8 years. This still goes on. We aggregate all the trade that we have in very limited quantities, put it up on the web, and people go at 7 in the morning and purchase it. And we keep the money. It pays for what we do. That moment and that decision was really what took my wife and I out of living in an apartment downtown to buying a home and raising a family. And so that was a pretty monumental decision to forego cash and move into trade. And it worked out really well. In fact, we didn't really realize how right we were because we're going to spend a minute talking about Groupon and the daily deal phenomenon. In 2007, my wife, our first son was born, Elliot, and my wife stepped away from the business. And right at that time, my brother, my development skills is I have an anthropology undergrad and a law degree, and I can work my way around code, but I'm not a phenomenal developer. But my brother, who is 7 years younger than me and always had an older brother that loved computers, is a very good developer. He has a CS degree from North Carolina and was working at ESPN. And we were talking one night, and we wanted to take all of these ideas that I had had over the last few years in the online printable gift certificate space and kind of formalize those and turn them into a real product and go try to make a run at being a serious startup technology company. And so that's what we did. We founded InstaGift. He and I were co-founders of that company in 2007. We really took the things that I had been doing and put good software behind it, came up with a few very well-packaged products, took them to market, expanded to 15 or so cities, and were able to bootstrap into a profitable company. And InstaGift, was a good experience with my brother and a great start into the market. And then something happened. And let me take a drink, and I still have to swallow hard when I think about what happened. Mm-hmm.
What was InstaGift?
It handles online printable vouchers. And so it basically converts trade into cash. And so if you have a bunch of trade and you want to, like we did with Birmingham Menus, and you want to sell it online as gift certificates, it facilitates gift certificate sales. So it's a gift certificate management company. It kind of empowers when we expanded into a lot of organizations like restaurant associations. They were having trouble collecting dues. And so what they did is they aggregated a bunch of trade from all their restaurants that they were trying to collect dues from and used our software to sell that trade online in the form of gift certificates. So a gift certificate management company. And so we were in the world of online printable discount gift certificates. That's what InstaGift does. And then something happened in about 2008. That something was Groupon. Groupon changed the metrics for companies like ours, forever. Groupon's software wasn't any better than ours, but their idea was better. I had been going to restaurants for years and saying, give me $1,000 in trade and I'll build you a website. Groupon went to that same business and said, give me an unlimited amount of trade for a small amount of time, usually 24 or 48 hours, and I'll tell everybody I know about it, and Groupon's got lots of people on email, and then we'll split the money. We'll sell it at a discount and split the money. And that small innovation, it wasn't a software innovation, I could have gone and told that same story to any business I ever talked to. That small tweak created what many call the fastest growing company in the history of mankind, which is, it's phenomenal what they've done. And so we recognized that we had expertise in this online gift certificate industry. We really enjoyed working with local organizations and empowering them to do cool things with gift certificate technology. And so kind of on that philosophy, we applied to Techstars. And Techstars is an accelerator. And there's a distinction between, I didn't really understand the distinction between an incubator like Innovation Depot and an accelerator like Techstars. Innovation Depot is a place where lots of little companies come together, and the city supports it, and UAB supports it, and hopefully some of the next great companies in Birmingham will be born out of this place. Give people access to common resources. Devin and Susan are amazing in coming around and giving us support. An accelerator is a little bit different than that. You go for 3 months, and it's like a boot camp for technology startups. That's what Techstars is. And so for 3 months, I left my family, and I moved to Seattle to participate in this program. And it's very mentor-driven, and it's incredibly intensive. It's amazing when you have a family and you can step out of that and do nothing but focus on your company. If I thought I worked hard in college, it doesn't compare to how hard we were able to work for those 3 months on our company. So a little bit of the nitty-gritty about Techstars. There are 500 applicants for 10 spots. We were lucky enough to be chosen as one. Techstars gets 6% equity in our company. That's how they pay the bills. They gave us $18,000 in return to move to Seattle. Most of the Techstars companies were pre-revenue. They hadn't made any money before. We were a little bit unique in that we already came in as a functioning company with some revenue. But we moved to Seattle. The program concluded with Demo Day, which is 300 angel and VC investors coming to hear our pitch. And Techstars is all about the pitch. From the first day that I stepped up to Techstars and introduced myself, I had to give the elevator pitch of our company. We went through 3-minute pitch sessions and 5-minute pitch sessions and 8-minute pitch sessions. It concluded with Demo Day, which was me standing on a stage in a Steve Jobs PowerPoint, not completely unlike this, explaining our company for 10 minutes and hoping to get investors on board. But the pitch of our company, the new company we started at Techstars was called Deal Co-op. And the Deal Co-op pitch is this. Deal Co-op is a white label group buying platform. That means we can turn anybody into Groupon almost overnight. And we think the future of the daily deal industry lies at really local levels. Entrepreneurs and small-time publishers connecting really targeted audiences to merchants in a way that's meaningful. So we're still a software company, but we want to be the ones that power the daily deal industry, that empower small organizations to monetize using the same mechanisms that Groupon is using so effectively.